The budget crisis threatens to shut down 8 911 call centers in our area.
And when seconds count, rerouting calls could steal precious time. The agency that runs the local 911 center says it needs to slash $5 million from next year's budget. They plan to save more than $800,000 by closing these 8 call centers. That's including one in Westlake Hills, Lakeway, and Leander. But that leaves more than $4 million left to cut. And that means cuts to the equipment budgets for the rest of the centers, including the main Austin-Travis County Dispatch Center. Reagan Hackelman is live in our studio to explain all this for us. Reagan?
Well, Leslie, right now, if you call 911 and you're in Lakeway, the call gets answered by someone in Lakeway. But in just a few months, that call could be answered by someone here in Austin, and then they would more than likely manually transfer that call back to Lakeway PD. The reason? State budget cuts.
746, receiver.
Last year, the Lakeway Police Department answered almost 5,000 911 calls.
I think it's been a great benefit. It's been nice for us to be able to tell our community that when you dial 911, it comes right to us.
But because of state budget cuts, Lakeway's 911 center plus 7 others in the area might be shutting down come September 1st.
It slows your response time down, not a lot, but you know, when you have an emergency, you know, what's acceptable.
Betty Voits is the executive director of the Capital Area Council of Governments. They provide 100% of the funding for all 32 911 centers in the Austin metro area. That funding comes from a monthly 50-cent fee that everyone who gets any kind of phone bill has to pay.
There's enough funding generated by our citizens in our region to fully fund a very good 911 program, but we won't receive all of that.
The reason they won't get it all, according to Voits, state lawmakers won't give it to them. They're keeping about 25% of those fees for the next 2 years in order to help with the state's budget shortfall. Besides closing down 911 centers, which will only save about $800,000, the money needed to buy new equipment for those centers would completely get cut, and that could slow down response times across the area.
Seconds do count, and I would hope that CapCOG would reconsider and legislation would reconsider so that we could keep the 911 facility open.
Now, the Travis County Sheriff's Office says if these cuts go through, it would set them back 20 years because they would more than likely have to manually transfer calls to the appropriate police departments. The funding cuts would also affect the amount of training 911 call takers receive. The agency that oversees the funding is supposed to make a final decision next Wednesday. We will be sure to let you know what they decide. Live in the studio, Reagan Hackelman, KXAN Austin News.
Well, just how busy are all these call centers? We have an in-depth look at their volume of calls. Each call center takes less than 15 emergency calls per day, some as few as 2 calls, as compared to about 2,000 calls the main Austin-Travis County Dispatch Center fields every day.